You're listening to the Dre Area Sports Show, live on YouTube and X. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Dre Area Sports Show, and we have breaking news out of Santa Clara. The Niners have hired their defensive coordinator. We know that they interviewed Gus Bradley, Joe Woods, Raheem Morris, and they have finally come to a decision, and they will be hiring Raheem Morris as their new defensive coordinator of the San Francisco 49ers. He will be replacing Robert Saleh, who I thought did a fantastic job bearing all the injuries and being as short-handed as they were, getting all the way to the divisional round of the playoffs. So, you know, all the respect in the world to Robert Saleh. He went to Tennessee, and now the Niners are bringing in Raheem Morris. Now, this is not a bad thing. I'm actually really excited about this hiring of Raheem Morris. Now, there were a lot of talk about, are they going to go with Gus Bradley? Or are they going to go try and get a guy like Jim Schwartz out of Cleveland? Now, Jim Schwartz is still under contract, so there still is one more hurdle to kind of get over. But the Niners didn't want to wait around. I think John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, didn't want to wait till the last minute like they did with Robert Saleh. They were happy to have him, but they waited through so many interviews and so many hoops to get that guy. And I think this time they knew, hey, look, I want to get Raheem Morris. Kyle knows him. He's coached with him. He's friends with him. And I think the familiarity is what Kyle wants. We know that Raheem Morris usually does a 3-4 defense, but I think he can and is flexible enough to do the wide 9 if they want to stay with that, with Chris Kocurek. So I think they probably will, but I think that getting a guy like Raheem Morris, they wanted a guy that they were familiar with and that Kyle knew. And we saw what happened when he didn't know the guy, when they brought in Steve Wilks. Yes, they got to the Super Bowl, but there was a lot of friction and tension between both Steve Wilks and Kyle Shanahan. Now Kyle's gone back to a guy that he knows, similar like he did with Robert Saleh, DeMeco Ryans. Now he goes with Raheem Morris. So some of the career highlights for Raheem Morris, he's won 2 Super Bowl championships, one with the Buccaneers, one with the Rams. He's one of the NFL's youngest head coaches at 32 years old when he was a head coach. He coached both offense and defense at the NFL level. Returned as a full-time head coach of the Falcons just recently and continues a long NFL coaching career in 2026 as the new defensive coordinator of the San Francisco 49ers. And so the guy's a seasoned coach, especially as a coordinator, and he will be the defensive coordinator for the Niners. He won the Super Bowl with the Rams, and he coached that defense when they beat the Cincinnati Bengals. So big news for the Niners. I'm really happy that they locked up their defensive coordinator. I think Raheem Morris will be here for at least 2 years, unless the Niners come out and have a stellar defense and win a Super Bowl this coming season. I don't think Raheem Morris leaves for at least 2 years, hopefully longer than that. We have a stable defensive coordinator on the 49ers coaching staff. But we have more news as well. Now, a lot of people were talking about, well, if they don't go with Gus Bradley, what's going to happen to him? Is he going to stick around? He was an assistant defensive coach for the Niners last season. He was their red zone defensive coach as well. Well, he is not sticking around. He's actually heading over to Tennessee to join Robert Saleh on his defensive coaching staff. So Gus Bradley leaving San Francisco and heading to the Tennessee Titans. Not only that, but defensive backs coach Daniel Bullocks is also on the way out. He will be heading to the Green Bay Packers for an undisclosed coaching position. We know that Green Bay had lost some coaches. He's going there. Is he going to be the D coordinator? Probably not. But he joins Matt LaFleur's coaching staff, and at this point might be their defensive backs coach. Now, there was some rumors that Joe Woods, a candidate who interviewed for the defensive coordinator position, might be joining the Niners as their defensive backs coach. Now, obviously, he's still with the Browns. He wants to see how that Brown situation unfolds. Jim Schwartz, after not getting the head coaching position with the Cleveland Browns, did tell some of the people in the office that, hey, if they don't make me a head coach, I'm out of here. But he's still under contract for one more year. If they let him go and Jim Schwartz does leave Cleveland, that leaves the door open for Joe Woods to become the defensive coordinator if the Browns go that route. If they don't, then I think Joe Woods stands a huge chance of coming to San Francisco and being the defensive backs coach to replace Daniel Bullock on the Niners coaching staff. So that's big news for the Niners. And we know that just recently they had requested an interview with the Falcons secondary coach, Justin Hood, but were blocked by the Atlanta Falcons, likely because they knew Daniel Bullock was on the way out, and they were looking to replace Daniel Bullock as soon as possible. But it looks like Joe Woods might still have the chance, or they could try to promote from within. We'll see how that kind of plays out. But that would solidify their coaching staff if they brought in a guy like Joe Woods. But like I said, the hire of Raheem Moore, I think, is a really good hiring. I'm really happy to see them kind of lock up their defensive coaching or defensive coordinator position early in the offseason and not wait all the way weeks upon weeks waiting for him to go through multiple interviews to see where he ends up. So now he will be the Niners defensive coordinator, a guy that Kyle Shanahan is familiar with, he's friends with, he's coached with before, and we all know that Kyle loves to bring in guys that he's familiar with. Guys, this video is brought to you by Power Brand Systems. Use promo code 300POWER to save up to $300 on your first purchase over at Power Brand Systems. They will develop and create a website for your every need. May it be for a big business, small business, social media account, YouTube channel. Definitely check out Power Brand Systems. Their work is phenomenal. You can see it on my website, which is DreAreaSports.com. That is done by Power Brand Systems. Same with John Chapman. Same with Johnny Dell's Football Academy. They made all of our websites, so definitely check out Power Brand Systems. We're also brought to you by SeatGeek. Use promo code DreAreaSports to save up to $20 on your first purchase over at SeatGeek.com. And, of course, we're brought to you by BetUS. BetUS is where the game begins. They will match you up to 125% on your first 3 deposits when you use promo code DreAreaSports. BetUS, it's where the game begins. Guys, I want to thank everyone for watching this video and supporting the Dre Area Sports Show on YouTube. We'll catch you guys next time.
You're listening to the Dre Area Sports Show, live on YouTube and X. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe.